What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. And we have finished the Liverpool game 3-1 we've lost. Now, the optics of it, let's be honest, we weren't going into this game expecting anything. But there are positive signs to take away from it. People have complained, saying again, it was not a great performance. I think considering the context is important, and we'll get into some of the context later, but the context of this game is important. The fact that we've just come from getting battered, well, not battered over the full 90 minutes, but we come from 3-0 down from individual mistakes in the Wolves game. Coming to this game thinking, oh, God, what are we going to do? There was rumours that Danny Ward was going to start, and I was praying, because I really like Rude. I was praying he wasn't going to start, mainly because that would lead to more fans turning on him. And lo and behold, we actually got into the game. Danny Ward wasn't even on the bench. He was actually dropped from the squad entirely, which I thought was, again, probably the best move. Let's be honest, out of the four keepers we've got, obviously Madseman to the top. We say Solarchek, then Daniel Everson, then Danny Ward. So Danny Ward's fourth choice, even though, ironically, he is number one. I think, again, I don't think there's a lot of Leicester fans that would be against that, or against. I don't think a lot of fans would disagree with me saying he is fourth choice, even though he is technically the number one keeper. Now let's get on to some of the specifics coming into the game, because coming into this, Liverpool set up with the pretty much strongest squad, and you look at the bench that they had. So Bosley came off the bench, Harvey Elliott. They had some good players. Overall, I think we did well in the game. There's bits that I think we would want to improve on, but there's positive sides that we want to build on. I'll come to this a little bit later, but I want to see consistency. We've seen this kind of up and down a little bit, and we want to see a more consistent basis overall. So let's get into the full lineup of who started. Now, we set up again in kind of 4-2-3-1. The main thing I want to mention, obviously, with the team that came, we'll start from the back, we'll go forward. Solarchek, I thought, was brilliant today. And the context for Solarchek, I think, is really important, the context overall. This guy got injured, I believe, in the first game of pre-season. Didn't play any minutes. He's then come into the game and he's put in a performance against the under-23s. And he's played one game, and then his second game and his Premier League debut is against Liverpool at Anfield, who are arguably the best team in Europe in terms of form at the moment. Incredible. And I think he performed great. I think he performed genuinely 9 out of 10. Wasn't phased by the Anfield crowd. Probably didn't help that we couldn't see anything at times as well. The back line trusts him a lot more. There was a couple of times he got a little bit lucky. I mean, there was a shot that came off. He went to dive. The ball came off his back, hit the post, or came off the post, hit the back, and then went out for a corner. But he was getting in good positions. I really enjoyed, and I think it's something that he does better than Mads. Coming out for corners and commanding his box and punching it, I thought was really good. Overall, I've been really impressed by him, considering there were big boots to fill. And we saw the levels when Mads Hermansen, you look at the Newcastle game, Mads Hermansen compared to, and we'll get into update later on, compared to Danny Ward, and there are levels between these two keepers. Danny Ward, I do feel a bit sorry for. I just need to go and rebuild his career, because I just think Leicester really hasn't worked out for him. I thought he was, again, I thought he was solid, really, really solid. Another player that I thought was solid and actually had a good game that I don't think a lot of people spoke about was actually Yannick Vestergaard. Lots of clearances, interceptions, blocks, heading the ball as well. Something we know that Yannick's huge, but something he did. The physicality element was quite good. He played out, not from the back, but he invited pressure, then played the ball out quite nicely. I think he had another good game there as well. But yeah, Solarchek, brilliant. For his first appearance in the Premier League, and to do it at that kind of stadium, in that kind of atmosphere on a Boxing Day, I think he did sublimely well. Yannick, we mentioned. Connor Cody, I didn't notice too much of. Not going to get into him too much, but I think when he was called upon, he delivered. And considering the stinker of performance he dropped in the last couple of games, especially against Newcastle, I think he makes amends for that. Christensen was, again, decent. What was nice is that we weren't just bumming one of the wingers on, one of the fullbacks on to join in with the attack. I think we noticed the fact that you've got Gakpo on one side, you've got Salah on the other, and you've got Nunes through the middle. We're going to have to keep it quite compact. And if we build on this and the 4-4-2 and the solid foundation, which didn't let Liverpool create a lot of opportunities, let's be honest, especially in the first half. But the difference is they've got world-class game makers. Mo Salah is probably the best example of it. A player that could just turn it on, as we saw for the third goal, and put the ball in the back of the net. Brilliant. Very esque of, I know I'm jumping about other page. Mo Salah's goal for the third one was very reminiscent of, remember Mahrez against Chelsea for the 2-1, or the year we won the league, against Aspilicueta, turns him inside out and just put. It was there was a small gap where he could have done something where people think it's fine, and he managed to find it and curl it. Nothing was Solaric can do. I know Solaric conceded 3, but I think again, really good. There isn't really anything he could do about that third goal. And Christensen again, you could argue that yes, he could have been slightly better at positioning, but considering he kept Mo Salah quiet for the majority of the match, I think was good. And you compare that to how we played against Newcastle, he came across and left Murphy free. I think there is improvements to be made. And I think the squad is starting to gel and form that personality. And one of the people that I want to mention, who I'll link this below for you to have a read through. There's another player that's joined the assistant back room called Brian Barry Murphy. Now, before we get into some of the individual players, I want to share this article, and I'll leave it in the full chat for you to read for yourself. And it's by Man City themselves. This was a couple of years ago. Basically, who is he? What has he done? So he's been the under 23s or the development squad for Man City since 2021. Who he took over from? Enzo Maresca. So he's took over from them, and he's managed some of these teams. And his record is pretty good. He managed Rochdale for a bit. He was a caretaker manager. Then he was the full manager for a little while. But I want to get into some of the particular bits again without going through again. Taking the reins from Enzo Maresca in 2021. So he's been working, and he's worked. Look at some of the players he's worked with: Cole Palmer, Romeo Lavia, as another player as well. A couple of other players when he was at Rochdale. I want to get into. Again, had a little bit of a playing career, and then here's a bit I want to get into. Is it here later on? Oh, I've lost it now. That's really annoying. Here we go. Further down, some of the other players that he's managed to mention as well. Robert Sanchez. So the idea is getting some of these players from the development squad into the first team. So he's developed some real talented players. Gavin Bazunu, if anybody knows, I believe he was the keeper that when Southampton bought him before Southampton went down, the year that we went down. He's beaten teams like Everton 6-1. He's had some good time as well. So he stepped up as the assistant manager. Now, why has he stepped up as the assistant manager? I think he was asking, they asked that to Rude, and he mentioned about the philosophy, the positioning, and the individual, more of the style of play, so more of the tactics and stuff that he's bringing to the game. Now, I'm not saying that he's responsible for this game. I'm saying that we're going to need somebody like that if we're going to stay in the league. You've probably seen by now. I don't need to show you the table. The fact that we are in the bottom 3, even before this game kicked off, because Man United lost against Wolves, and that put them safe. We need some points on the table, and we need to start building on this foundation. Now, the back 4, you could say that Stolarczyk would keep his place. Now, we'll get into some of the Mads Manson updates ahead of the next game. But with a few players out, so you like Fatau, I think is a massive miss for us. Jamie Vardy obviously missing for this game. You've got, again, Ricardo missing. I did say that this squad is good enough to get in mid-table. But the problem is now a few of them are dropped out. We're seeing the level come down. And with that, you're going to see some players struggle a little bit. We need some investment in January. And I'm really hoping the reason why Rude left PSV was because of that reason. I believe they lost Madueke and they lost Gakpo, and they didn't really replace them. And he left a couple of games towards the end of the season. I've got a feeling that top now, the FFP window thing, they are going to be careful, obviously, but they're going to have to invest. One of the reasons, because obviously they want to back Rude. And second of all reason, we don't want to go back to the Championship. They are going to slaughter us if we go back down. they're going to reduce our weight. They're going to say, right, you've got a fine. You're going to cap you at X many wages, and we'll have to just sell. So the only way to do that is by kind of sticking a neck on the line and putting some more money into it. Whether we do something like going for loan players, and then with an option to buy in the summer, would be a good move. But we need kind of, when I say Premier League proven, the word I'm looking for is experience. People that have done it, got the t-shirt, etc., and are going to push us up to the next level. Now, by experience, people think, well, we have experience in the summer in Jordan Ayew, we've got Diva whatever Reed. I think we need a bit of a better player, a better quality in that can come into that first team and really take us up. Because some of these players, especially in the fringe of the squad, now that the C team at the moment aren't benefiting the team how I thought they would. Let's get into some of the players in the midfield then. So we're going into Harry Winks, I thought had a decent game. The only thing is sometimes when he gets pressed a bit too much, he kind of panics. And overall, yeah, I thought was good. For the first goal, I think he lost for the first goal of them. I think he lost possession of the ball, which led to the turnover for their first goal. But again, it was a great goal from their perspective. And when he's pushed a little bit, I think he just needs to be a little bit quicker on the ball. But I think I'm being extremely harsh because look, this is Liverpool. They're one of the best teams. And Harry Winks is a Premier League proven player. I think he switched the ball well. I think he enjoyed the Championship a little bit more because he got so much more time on the ball. I don't think he's got the luxury of doing that in the Premier League. And I think he's just coming back from injury. So I think if we give him time, he should be able to get that and be a mainstay in that side. Another player that's, again, starting to cement his place, in my opinion, is Samore. I was criticising a little bit, going, can he do it over 90 minutes? Can he do it going forward? And he started to find his form. I think Wilfred Ndidi is a miss. I think his defensive solidity, his firefighting is drastically missed. I wouldn't say he's as good as Kante, but he's the close player we have to it because he would close down, he'd sweep up, he'd give the ball to somebody else, and then he'd take the ball forward. But Samore is doing a good job. Physicality, I love. And also at times, he does remind me of Yaya Toure, especially when he gets the ball and he's breaking out of this position coming forward. I think he played some good position, good balls over. And he faded a little bit in the second half. Didn't really notice him that much, but he was still, I think Samore was good in the game, considering the level of opponent. And let's talk about some players that kind of made people, again, divided people quite a lot. Jordan Ayew, I was saying in this game, this is the kind of game you play Jordan Ayew for. Why? Because he's not going to give you that much going forward. Ironically, he scored our only goal and he took it well as well. Yes, it was a deflection off Van Dijk, and I think for the trajectory of the ball, it was going straight at Becker. And then instead of Alisson, if the deflection did take it wide, but again, a goal's a goal. You've got to take it where we can. And Liverpool are again a good side. But defensively, I think the fact that Justin wasn't bombing forward, I think Ayew was coming back and tracking him, really helped the team as well. And I think I didn't think he did too bad. I'm glad he got subbed after about 60 minutes. I think he has to play the Okazaki role, where he's going to come on, run his socks off. He was substituted in the... Oh, no, he wasn't substituted at all. Interesting. Winks was substituted. El Khanous was substituted. Mavididi was substituted. And Connor Cody. Interesting. So Ayew was left on. I think Ayew, again, did well, scored the goal. Another player that's kind of controversial, I've spoken to a few people as well, Mavididi. I think Mavididi's such a frustrating one. I'm trying to figure out if he's a top-end Championship or bottom-end Premier League player. Where is his ceiling? Because I think he's 27, 28 now. So he's coming into the prime of his career as a winger. He did some good defensive stuff, and I think defensively he was good. Attacking-wise, he got into good positions. The decision-making at times is frustrating because I could see he's making some really good moves, and he'll try to do too much and lose the ball. Now, what I don't understand is that people will give him the criticism where they won't give Buonanotte, even though they do similar things. When we talk about Mavididi, there was an opportunity where he was getting some really good position playing. He's linking up with Samore really well on that left hand side, playing 1-2s. Daka played him in, which I think that we'll get into Daka in a second. And then at times he would come right to the left-hand side and he's got one defender one-on-one and potentially one closing in. And he makes the wrong decision. He tries to cut inside where he should go on the outside. Or sometimes you've got to win a tactical foul. We're not going to be able to break away. And that's why I think he just needs to learn from his game a little bit. However, the ball in for Daka, I think in that 60th minute or something, brilliant ball in from him. And there is a player there. The problem is, how many years are we going to say it? He's coming into he's been to the squad 18 months now. We've seen patches of brilliance, and I'm just waiting. I'm hoping that Rude's the guy to take him to the next level. Because I do believe there is a player there, but is he one of those players that's really good in the Championship but not as good in the Premier League? The jury's out, for my opinion. His mentality is that it's just some of the decision making. I think it frustrates fans, and that's what I want to say. Anyway, another player, obviously, Patson Daka. A lot of people don't like him. I can kind of understand why. He's been here 2021. He's been here coming up to 4 or 5 years now. And the problem with Patson is he's got one kind of finishing and one. So with Jamie Vardy, he was known to running off the shoulder. I think we all know that. Classic, typical Jamie Vardy. But difference with Vardy, he'll come back and link the play. He's got different types of finishes he can do from outside the box. He can do a tap in. He can do linking up other people. He's good at assisting. Do I see? And it's hard because Jamie Vardy's a legend. But why can't Patson Daka do it? And it feels like Patson Daka has one particular style, which is running, full pace, hit it with full power. Now, for a striker, you need more than that. I think that, again, if Vardy's fit, he plays in the next game. But again, what do we do with this going forward? I think I've covered pretty much everybody. Justin, I thought, again, was good. Much improved over the last game. I was calling for him to be dropped because he was that bad. He actually performed better than I expected, which was good. Then coming into some of the other ones, but I want to into now the advantage of doing this after post-match, doing this live. Obviously, if you watched Blue City Glasses, you would have seen my reaction, and some of these comments were mentioned as well. But we actually get to do some of the pre-match conference about what Rude said as well. So let's get into some of these. So in terms of this one, we are now, again, mentioned in the relegation zone. And he goes, he's taking the positive from the responses. I think that's the right way to look at it. There are positives to stay up. And if we are going to stay up, we're going to have to play like this on a more regular basis against the bigger sides but we need to start creating more on the opportunities. Now, am I saying we should have played more attacking football? Probably not, because Liverpool would have just carved us open even more. Man City want us to play expansive. So, you know what we did against a good example of this is, remember last year we played against Southampton. Southampton tried to play expansive style. We go, brilliant. Let's put 4 goals past you. Where we took the ball, hit them on the counter, 1, 2, 3, threw on goal, put it away. I want to see more of those. And I want Liverpool want us to play like that. Same with Man City. We've got to sit in. We've got to make it tough. I expected us to create a little bit more because we need some more quality in the final third. I think I missed Alcanus as another example as well, which I think Alcanus did well until he was, and then his second half he faded a little bit. But you can see that this guy is here for the future and there's a really bright one ahead. Anyway, coming back to this, I think we played right. I think there was a couple of opportunities where Liverpool just in unbelievable form. Bearing in mind they battered Tottenham 6-3. Tottenham scored 3 goals, yes, but they conceded 6. Now that's I prefer to lose 3-1 than 6-3. And when we're down the bottom now, goal difference matters. The last goal difference against obviously 3-0 and 4-0 in the last couple of games, and obviously 3-1 here. 10 goals we've shipped, so the -9 over the last 3 games is not good. However, the optics of this are we need to be able to, again, the positive side to improve if we want to stay in the league. And I think we will do. However, we do need backing, and we do need. I think at this time, if we have 0 transfers now, January is a tough market. We never really do much shopping in there. We need 3 to 4, maybe even 5 signings of good quality to really push this team on. Now, the problem is you've got to get rid of the players to bring some in, even on loan or something. So we've got loads of centre mids. We just need to be able to get some players. For example, Casey McAteer, I'd give on loan. give him 6 months in the Championship, see what he can do, and play some regular football and get some other people in to see what they can do, because we have a squad that at the moment, if it keeps like that, I think they're more likely to get relegated than they are to stay up. But with the backing and with Rude coming in, because bearing in mind, he's not had a lot of time to work with them. I'm really excited to see where this team can go, but I'm starting to see spells and Rude's trying to pick up particular things. I think if Rude was here from the beginning of the season, I don't think we'd be in this position. But such is life. So yeah, so some bits I want to mention about Rude. He mentioned about Stolarczyk, again about how good he was. Maybe yeah, he mentioned about making an excellent debut, very positive for us and for him. I totally agree. And then in terms of the injuries and updates to certain players that weren't in the squad today, Ward wasn't mentioned, but 3 players again. Jamie Vardy has a little injury there. So again, they're I think from Owen Palmeratkin mentioned he has a light injury and hope he's fit for Sunday, against Man City. Hermansen is out versus Man City, so again, Starchik will probably start there. And Fast's injury and is a doubt, as mentioned there as well. It needs more injury time related to that as well. So overall, there are signs. For me, the most important thing now is consistency. We've seen a good performance against West Ham, where we could see a lot of chance, but managed to get a point. We saw a good performance against Brighton. We had 2 shocking performances. And one of them, let's be honest, Newcastle just turned up and we couldn't live with them. Wolves was really bad. Really bad. We need to see some consistency. Now, if we can take positives from this and take it into the next few games, I think we'll be okay. But this running is not nice. It's not kind. In the new year, we need to rebuild, restart, and go again. We are in the relegation zone now, and if things don't change, we will continue to be there. But we need backing, and we need everybody to come together in order to do that. Overall, I give this game a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think there was decent players, and Rude's starting to find the team that I think he wants to start. And hopefully with Hermansen coming back, that will help. Because, again, he's such a big miss. Fatal was a big miss, but we can't cry over spilt milk now. We've got to get on with it. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. Hope you've all had a good Christmas. On Blue Team Glasses, link in the chat. We'll also see the post-match reaction that we did on Locks and Anil's channel. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next video.